Okay.
Yeah, bud.
So great way to start off.
Yeah. Spicy.
Gotta call it a butt.
That's daily.
Well, judging by last week's
Welcome
podcast,
to
it
the
should be
Grappling
highly
with
rated.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Dr. Chris Hardy and William Walker
People love
will
butts.
take a deep dive into topics covering wellness and prevention, performance, recovery,
gonna set my
and
ass on
injury
fire.
management. Our mission is to provide
I'm
the
not.
latest science-based information to help you get the most out of your grappling journey,
won't judge.
both on and off the mats, and
You
help
want
you
to.
overcome any challenges you may be grappling with. Dr. Hardy is a licensed physician and BJJ practitioner, but the contents of the podcast are meant
He's
for
low on
educational
meds.
purposes only and should not be taken as medical advice.
It's Monday.
Please seek out personalized care from your own medical
Friday.
provider prior to implementing any medical treatment or intervention.
Bill is a licensed buffoon. He says things that are a little squirrely. Do not hold these things against his gym mates, his family, Chris Hardy, Harry Hardy, or anybody at his gym.
Thank
Oh.
you.
Yes. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome, sir. Happy Monday,
Yeah.
which we're recording on Mondays now.
So it's going to be released on Wednesday.
So it's going to be released on Wednesday. So if any news comes out that we miss, I apologize.
This is the sequel to the butt episode.
Yeah,
No, it's
it is. We're going to talk a little bit of cheeks today.
Oh my gosh, Bill.
I'm not saying butt cheeks. I'm saying his pearlies. You going with the goatee today?
yeah. Why not?
Throwback.
Just going to do some. Losing my hair. Might as well do something with my facial hair.
What, are you ever going to commit to just the solo stash?
No,
Why?
that's obvious.
I mean, you'd look pretty like
No,
par for the course.
I look like a serial killer.
I was thinking pedophile.
Well, there you.
Actually,
Tomato.
what's it called? Adults that are
Minor attracted?
minor attracted
Maps.
people. Maps. You'd look like a map.
Dude,
Be inclusive.
I'm not going to be inclusive. They need to be lined up and castrated.
You're moving to Florida? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Wherever they do that.
Yeah,
it's
where
fine
do they
with
do
me.
that? I hear Saudi Arabia is really nice this time of year.
Yeah, I don't think there's many pedophiles running around, at least out in the open.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, let's change.
Good start.
Yeah, good start to this one.
So now we're recording on Monday. We can actually even talk a little bit about events that happened just the weekend before.
Off the top of my head, UFC.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up because of Crohn's,
Yeah.
and there was some interesting discussion about that.
Yeah.
Crohn's disease?
Yep.
Oh.
Ice cream Crohn's. disease.
Kron, Gracie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Put some respect on his name.
Yeah.
Were you serious?
Yes.
Can you mute yourself? You have a 3-minute timeout.
You gave her a timeout for
Well,
that.
he said Crohn's. So
That's his name.
Crohn's match.
Yeah. Which I didn't watch, but I read a bunch of the tea leaves on it.
We watched it.
Yeah.
Carrie and I watched the fights.
I heard it was basically if you threw Hoist Gracie from 97 into modern day UFC, that's basically what happened.
Well, I mean, that's the gist of it. Butt scooting and
So he like
there
sat
was
down
some
and was
there was some butt scooting.
full
going
on butt scoot.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look.
It's interesting with his lineage because I would think he would like that's probably looked down upon in that family.
The thing is, the other guy he was against was also. I'm not saying he was as high level as Crone as a black belt,
Sure.
but he's also jiu-jitsu black belt,
Substantial
but
grappler.
also has really good hands.
Do you remember his name? That guy?
Dang it, no,
Okay.
I
Put you on
forgot.
the spot.
But he was he had some good
Okay.
hands too, and it kind of the classic close the distance type of thing
Yeah.
to try to grapple.
Was Kron able to get into close guard ever?
Yeah, yeah. The guy shut him down
The
pretty
guy
good.
survived. Wow.
Yeah, shut him down pretty damn good.
I mean, I assumed that he didn't even get into one of those positions.
No, he did. Several times he got into close guard.
Wow.
The first time he got in close guard, the audience went wild. Thought
Right.
that,
Because you're like, oh, well,
here
it's
it
pretty
goes.
much done.
Yeah, and not so much.
Interesting.
Yeah, the guy was really good about, kind of defending.
Well, we saw something similar in a grappling match with Craig Jones and what's that tatted up guy?
Jeez, dude, that narrows it down.
Well, how about this? He's white.
Again, that doesn't narrow it down any.
They did a grappling match. He's like high ranked. I think he's like a top 5 UFC guy. And the guy beat him in decision.
Real tatted up.
Yeah, dang it. What is his freaking name? Liv, can you look up?
What weight? Obviously, it's a higher weight class.
Yeah, he's going to be like at least either 185 or 205.
I'll
what am I
think.
looking at?
Just look up Craig Jones versus UFC fighter. anyways, but it was the same thing. Like he was very kind of stalematey, right?
Sean Brady.
Yes.
Oh,
Sean
okay.
Brady.
Yeah.
But he shut Craig down.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
Even Craig
the
got
thing.
into some
It's
of the
just
spots.
interesting is that the hyper specialist game
Yeah.
in UFC anymore.
Yeah.
It's
Because
not
the base
work
level of grappling
is good.
Not what it used to be, obviously.
No, and people are coming up training true MMA. They're
Yeah.
not just training one discipline.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some, outliers out there. They're just so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got your Rodolfos, your Damian Mayas.
But even then,
Even then, they still obviously can run into a certain wall of skill.
Khabib.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. So it was kind of interesting to watch that people were making that kind of connection with this is like a throwback to the old UFC.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as effective as, especially with a guy that has that has a high level of grappling.
Did you
themselves.
burn your gi after? Were you like, this stuff's fake?
No,
This stuff's bullshit.
not at all.
Okay. So I hear there was a little bit of controversy about the main event, which was Cejudo
Yeah.
against Sterling.
Okay. What was the controversy? Because I watched it.
Well, some people think that Cejudo won,
No.
including Demetrius Johnson.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I
I
don't
think you're smarter than
No, I certainly do not. Especially do not hear. No, of course
I mean, I
not.
could. He's local.
Yeah,
I could tell him.
I'm sure. I can disagree with people. It's okay. It doesn't mean that I'm
Don't
right.
be defensive about it. So you think Sterling? It was pretty odd.
I think it was. I wasn't upset at the decision. It was a split decision.
If it went to Cejudo, would you have been more
Yeah,
probably similar? Like been like, I get it.
similar. I could say, okay,
Yeah.
I can see it. It was really close.
It wasn't egregious by any. Like
I didn't think
really
so.
could have gone either way.
I didn't think so.
Okay. I saw some. I think it was like a 5-minute cut of like all the action-packed moments.
So Cejudo looked great.
Yeah.
He looked outstanding.
And he had like a couple years off, right?
3.
Yeah.
He looked great. But again, you have the reigning champion.
Yeah.
To take that belt away on a decision, you're going to have to. I mean, that's just the nature of it. I've seen in the past. You're going to have a very decisive. It's going to have to be pretty obvious.
Yeah.
There is. I think there is a little. In my opinion, there's a little bit of kind of nudge towards the reigning champion if it's really close.
Right.
Just my opinion.
Right.
From what I've seen in the past. If Cejudo would have won, I'd have been like, yeah, okay. I mean, it was really close, but I mean, I couldn't say that's bullshit, at all.
Good fight though to watch.
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also ONE FC.
I didn't see that. I know that. I know Mikey competed.
Mikey
right?
Musamechi competed, Ty
Yeah.
Rotolo, and then Demetrius Johnson. And then if you keep up with any of the some of the ONE FC stars, you have Stamp, which is a Muay Thai fighter that does some MMA matches, but they're like a phenomenal Muay Thai fighter. And then there's Rod Tang,
Oh yeah.
which is once again, it's kind of like a getting up there to, I mean, not there yet, but Bukau level, like really exciting. Just eats punches. He's like guy that you see on Instagram where like he gets punched in the face and he just kind of giggles and then fakes being like, and then kills someone. So their matches were awesome. Ty Rotolo's match, he went against their, I think, middleweight champ, MMA champ. So it was, once again, you see the MMA level. He actually put Ty in I think it was a guillotine or a darce. I think it was a guillotine. And Ty had to bail on it hard, like where you drop your back to the mat.
Totally.
And then, but Ty was pushing the pace, so he ended up winning, winning that decision.
There's some high level people out there.
Yeah.
Man.
Mikey, he just completely dominated an Autos black belt that I believe has been on the podium at World. So this is like not one of these Sambo guys that are coming in. He's like legit pedigree.
I remember you talking about it that he had the foot for a while and then he switched.
Yeah, he was playing more traditional heel hook finishing positions, and it was how this guy is jumping from the as Danaher kind of put it out there, you have your primary leg and your secondary leg. Primary leg is the one that you're entrapping with your legs to attack. Secondary leg is for control because that's their defensive leg. So when you are setting stuff up, once you've entangled the primary leg, you control the secondary leg until the exact moment to go for the finish, right? Well, give it to the guy, Alawari or something. His defense was phenomenal on leg locks, but Mikey was jumping from attacking the primary leg to attacking the secondary leg, not just controlling it, but attacking both as the guy is defending. Is just incredible how he's
the transitions between
yes. I mean, the guy was just in quicksand, and then there was a couple times where you're like, oh, this is another dude that's just letting his leg get torn apart.
God,
Not as bad as that last match where he did tear the guy's leg completely apart.
Oh yeah.
But there was a couple moments where I did the whole like put my fingers up and I kind of like don't quite watch, you know.
Yeah, you get that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but he transitioned sooner than last time to the back and then choked the guy with some, once again, if you can watch the Mikey Musumeci match, take note of how he's switching from primary to secondary legs and attacking throughout, and then also how he sets up his choking grips on the rear naked choke. Absolutely tremendous. He went across the chin, so then the guy's defending with the choking arm. He then swims above that arm and goes essentially across the nose, right? So then the guy is now starting to defend that choke, because that's now the choking arm, right?
Yep.
But he's allowing the guy to push his arms up while he's peeling the guy's face up.
To get that exposure.
Yep. So then he swims the right arm again underneath the chin, right? But he keeps the left arm over. So now he's grabbing, as his right arm snuck underneath the chin, he then, with his left hand, grabs his tricep and blocks any gripping of that arm.
That's crazy.
And just lets it sit there, and then uses the fingers on his right hand
and weasels it right up
to grab onto like the outer pec, and then walk it up to the collarbone, and then you just see him slide that left hand back, and then boom, right
through.
It was, I wouldn't even want to say textbook, because it's something. There's details there that you don't see or get taught.
We should really break that one. Like, I'd like to just
put it up on a screen.
Just watch that with you, because that's super cool. It's almost like he's kind of creeping up slowly with
and then using the peel of opening the chin up as the guy's 2-on-1ing, and then covering the choking arm with his own.
Yeah,
which
it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, because typically, let's say you get that choking arm, they're going to go a wrist control.
Yep.
Right? Can't do it because he's
covered
his
it
wrist.
up. Yep, with their arm. That's awesome, man.
Gosh, well, I'll have his babies. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay.
At least try.
You probably could this day and age.
You know what that means.
Phil.
Sorry. Graphic.
No,
Your mom listens to this.
That's true.
No, I like to see how far you're going to go. I'm like, I want to see how far you're going to take
if she wasn't here to give me those, Bill, it would probably get a little squirrely.
I'm like, tell me more.
Would be editing more episodes. So yeah, that one FC was great. Demetrius Johnson, not the funnest fight to watch. It was a tiebreaker. They were 1-1.
The 1-1.
Yeah. But I mean, he definitely won. He was working the body. I think the guy was just getting his body work. So he was clinching like crazy. And in the last 2 rounds, Demetrius started coming alive and opening up, and he definitely won.
When you're playing high level chess, like the two super high level guys, I mean, you're not going to go out there and get reckless. He's played very strategic.
That's what some people were saying is like, or that I saw on Twitter at least, was they say it's some of the most exciting matches are at those couple weight classes, those lower ones, because they're so evenly matched. But then people complain that it's boring, and it's like, okay, but that's gonna be a product of having such high level fighters, dude. It's gonna
this whole boring thing just cracks me up, man. They have no idea the kind of, I mean, anybody that watches high level stuff are like, wow.
Tremendous risk going on here.
I mean, well, no, just their defensive fighting. They're the whole, there's no wrong moves out of, I mean, it's just perfect. I mean, that's cool. I don't, it's the same people that like to go watch the slapping thing if you're that kind of person.
Yeah, talk about flip of the coin. If you're the first one that is getting slapped, you're basically losing.
I know.
You're just getting KO'd.
But I mean, if that's what you want, go watch that, right?
Shout out to Dana White. I'm sure he's watching, about claiming that they had better social media numbers for slap, whatever it was called, the slap thing, than NFL, soccer, basketball, baseball, F1.
Do you know why?
Combined.
Do you know why?
He said better social media views. I mean, the only reason they're getting views is because people are like, look at how stupid this shit is.
Or no, it's idiocracy. I'm telling you, that's where we're heading.
That's true.
That's
but it's
the next
interesting
step.
because you look at all the comments and it's almost all negative. Yeah. Like, this is ridiculous.
But they're still doing it, aren't they?
And the thing, they just signed a new contract.
I'm sure they did.
The thing is, when those videos would come around about that you would see in Russia, they were doing it.
I know.
And it was more of like gimmicky, where we're like, holy smell, look at Russians.
Look what they're doing.
Yeah, like Russians are going to Russian.
Yeah.
No problem. This is no disrespect. But it's kind of like, I'm not surprised that's where it's at.
I'm not either.
And then they try making it like this Americanized league.
The next is going to be Ow My Balls. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be, we're going to take turns.
That's Jackass season 7. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, there's pillow fighting.
What?
You've seen that, the pillow fighting competitions.
All right.
I might erase it out of my brain.
Yeah. They have like things and they're like beating the crap out of each other.
I'll wreck your world, buddy.
With what?
A pillow?
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll pillow your face off.
It's funny you have such confidence in that.
I do.
Yeah.
I used to wreck my nieces with pillows. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Their parents would go upstairs or leave Uncle Bill.
I'm a grown man, just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe in your hairline.
You're going to go there? Really? My brother actually commented. He goes, dude. What? No, about my hairline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My brother's like, what do you call it? He didn't call it. He called it, you got that 5 head going on. I was like, 5 head? He goes, it's not a 4 head anymore. I'm like, that's really stupid, dude.
That's dumb and offensive.
So I know he's going to listen to this.
Yeah.
So, hey, you're a dumbass.
What's his name?
Jason.
Jason, try harder. Okay.
He's actually pretty funny.
Well, I mean, if he's got jokes like that.
That wasn't his best work.
It wasn't his best. Also, shout out to your new boots. They look great.
Yeah. We talked about that a bit too. Anyway, yeah.
So, yeah. Also, event that happened, jiu-jitsu related, was Brasileiros. So, Brazilian Nationals, IBJJF. Some good matches for sure to watch. I'd say anything Tynan Dalpra was in he was stunting on people. Just flexing. He did that gator roll back take, but he didn't do a back take. He did it to an arm bar, like sequent, like Choi bar. My goodness. Victor Hugo had some good matches. Isaac Doderlin, American, went down there, got gold.
Wow.
Yep. So that means he just won the last Worlds, and he was like the 6th American to do that. And then now he's gone down to the Brazilian Nationals, and I think he's maybe the 4th or 5th American to do that, and won gold. Couple ankle lock finishes, got one in like 14 seconds. So that's a really good one to watch.
There was some controversy with Elizabeth Clay's.
Oh, got gringoed. Yeah, so you know who Elizabeth Clay is? Mm-hmm. Yeah. She real good competitor.
Yeah.
Does very well out of Aries under Cashinho. She goes down there, and they have this thing where they award her advantage, right?
I think 2 advantages.
2 advantages. Time runs out. They raise her hand. She wins. That was to get into the finals. So she's done for the day. Mm-hmm. Next day is the finals. She walks off the mat.
It's 5 minutes later.
5 minutes later, they say, no, come back. They take the advantages away. Now it's an even score.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Even score. Ref decision goes to the Brazilian.
Yep.
Oh, no.
What?
Yep.
That's worse than any Keenan Cornelius Brazilian gringoing.
I mean, my mind already goes to like some kind of mobster type,
Right.
Like,
Right.
She's not gonna win, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One of those people.
Think about that. 5 minutes later, you've hugged your whole family
That's
and
ridiculous.
team.
Yeah, you're relaxed. You're ready to go.
Probably got a sweater on.
At that point, I'd be like, peace out.
For sure.
Yeah. I'd
Yeah,
be like,
don't go back on the
I'm
mat.
not even doing the third place.
No,
match, or
I'm not. No.
If I have any more.
No, that's ridiculous. I mean, if there was a true mistake, you should have done it before you raised your hand. You
Yeah.
should have reviewed something, or
Right.
Well,
you
there's
know.
videos showing them giving her the points and everything like that. So
Yeah.
it's not like
Anyway, that's
Crazy.
just ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, but when there's competitions like that,
yeah.
all it's going to do is just diminish the quality of the people coming down.
Yeah.
Because they're all, whether it happened or not, they're going to look, oh, this is a fix or something.
Yeah.
You know, that's too bad.
If you can go back and watch Lucas Pinheiro's matches, he had some really good ones against, specifically against Bebeto. Bebeto's won the most in that Rooster division since Mikey's not there. He pretty much wins primarily. But Bebeto had Lucas Pinheiro, he's an Autos guy, in a full-on triangle. I mean, hook the leg, everything, dead to rights. You're like, the guy's done. He works his way out, gets out, takes the dudes back, and chokes them. I mean, the crowd's going nuts. One of the best comebacks. Because he was in the triangle for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Oh.
Deadlocked. And the guy's like lanky.
Yeah. Oh,
So
it has
it's
one of
just
those
like-
nasty triangles.
Yeah, you just don't even. He was going for arm bars in the triangle.
Oh, man.
Fantastic. Lucas Pinheiro. I don't know how to say the rest of his name, but Bebeto.
Okay.
That was a good one. It was semifinals.
Very cool.
Yeah. Brasileiros was pretty cool. Shout out to Steve Hargett. He's one of our buddy Aurelius's friends that trains at Six Blades in Texas. He got silver.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
But yeah, that's pretty much the weekend activities.
The weekend?
Yeah. I want to talk to you a little bit about some medical stuff. Like it's kind of health, wellness, what medical.
Okay.
Okay. Because we had a question come in. And we've talked about it before. I just don't remember what episode, so I figured we'd just touch on it. And let's say you get a little bit of the sniffles. Okay. You get a cough or something like that. You can tell your energy's down, you got symptoms, runny nose, maybe it's a cough, maybe, whatever. At what point are you not contagious anymore? Okay. Also, when is it okay to come back? Because the worry is, well, I went through it, my energy's back, I feel good, but I still have the sniffles, let's say. Am I a dickhead for coming back, or is it okay?
Well, it's almost impossible to tell you that because it depends on the pathogen,
Okay.
right? There's some, even the last 3 years with the Voldemort strain,
Yeah.
basically you could still shed virus even after you were starting to feel a little better, which is a little atypical. Usually if you're symptom-free, I usually say if you're symptom-free for, 36, 48 hours, you're probably pretty good for most things.
Symptom-free, does that include the sniffles?
Now, you can have residual inflammation in the nose. I'm talking about your main symptoms, especially if you have any body aches, the cough,
Maybe if you have some sort of fever or sweats.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually about 48 hours after that, you're usually not shedding any. I'm assuming most of these are respiratory viruses.
Yeah,
we're
those are
talking
like
about.
low level, like nothing too crazy. Yeah. And when we say Voldemort, obviously we're talking about the stuff that's changed the world for the last few years. So that's our
Try not
code
to
name.
talk about it.
Yeah.
For many reasons.
Yeah.
But most of these things, it's also a sign. Training while you're especially if you're feeling a little run down, it might not be a bad idea anyway, just to take just for your own sake,
Yeah.
to take some time off, much less no one wants to get these respiratory infections. Unfortunately, you're not going to stop them.
Yeah.
But when you're in a jiu-jitsu academy and we're all rolling around basically spitting each other's mouth, I mean, it's
Yeah.
probably going to pass it a little easier. That's my general rule of thumb. If I'm symptom free, a little bit of stuffy nose. I mean, you can have residual inflammation. That's not, or if it's allergy season, my gosh, that's why this time of year is really hard to tell.
Yeah.
May time, it's like, okay, if you have a fever, obviously, there's something going on.
I mean, you're in the middle of battling.
If you have kind of a runny nose, especially if you have burning eyes and that kind of thing, kind of an allergy picture too.
Are you ever in this scenario? Are you ever kind of analyzing like the snot and mucus, like if it's discolored or clear or thin or?
Not really. I know there's been talk about that. There's a bunch of things that affect that hydration status as well. But the mucus and snot is its way of trapping stuff.
It's a good nickname for you.
Mucus, snot.
Yeah,
really?
I think so.
I have a bunch of nicknames. Why are you going to give me another one?
From National Lampoons.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, one, you're snobby.
Am I?
A little bit.
Okay.
Two,
wow,
you get so sweaty sometimes.
No, that's true.
That it's like you're covered in snot. You're slicker than a snot on a doorknob.
I am pretty slick.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I think didn't I pass your guard, Olivia, just based on slickness of my...
Yes.
Yeah.
She complained about it.
I know she did. She told me right afterwards.
I did.
She said, you just passed my guard because you were
slick.
She actually accused me of oiling. What is it called? Greasing.
Yeah, I think she asked you, do you use baby oil?
Yeah.
This was in a gi, too.
It was in a gi, which is hilarious. Like, no.
Which, actually, I'm a freak, and I'm watching all of the matches from Black Belt Master 2 Worlds last year.
I'm sure you did. Yeah.
All of the guy that won last year, I watched all of his matches at Brazilian Nationals as well. But anyways, there was a guy that got in the semifinals. I think it was the semifinals, right? Yeah. That was DQ'd because the opponent complained that his gi felt a little slick or something.
Yeah.
And it took probably 20 minutes. A bunch of different officials came out and felt his gi and felt like it was too slick.
Was that Europeans?
It was either Euros or Pans. I can't remember.
Okay.
And, it wasn't last year. So yes, everyone that podiumed, I'm watching them at every match that they have. And this guy at Euros or Pans Alex Martins got DQ'd because supposedly like some lotion, like I don't know if he lotions like just he's a darker guy, so he might just lotion naturally, right?
Okay.
His knees and stuff, and supposedly it's soaked through the fabric, and they DQ'd him.
That sucks.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Imagine flying to Europe.
That's lame, and you get DQ'd just because your skincare.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't want to be ashy.
Now,
so he gets DQ'd.
There are some gis, and some of them are not IBJJF legal, that are if you tried to grab the collar, they're not easy.
Origin makes a couple. There's a couple brands, but they're noticeable. They don't have a texture to the fabric.
It's just like zoop.
Yeah. And you can't do IBJJF tournaments,
right?
Which this was an IBJJF tournament, so he wouldn't have got it in the first place.
Right. That's
just
interesting.
Very interesting that he.
So you're saying basically that's me?
Just naturally, triple weave doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
It's fine. I don't. I have naturally, wonderful skin. I don't need to.
You exfoliate. Yeah. Speaking of that, did Anna give you that shirt, or did you just take it from her?
What, this shirt? Mm-hmm. No, I've had this for years.
Well, I could have guessed that. High school?
No. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years.
Picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
What am I trying to say?
You always make fun of me because, it's hard for me to shop for shirts. Just so you know.
Well, when you only shop at the Baby Gap?
No, look, we're going to have an instructional on my woes of shopping for shirts because obviously you don't understand.
You're like a legit Joe Rogan? A little box troll?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And if I buy a shirt that fits my waist around my torso, it's hanging off. I can't put it on my, right. I can't get it over my shoulders.
Yeah.
But if I buy something that is looser, I'm swimming in it.
Yeah.
It looks ridiculous.
You look like a dork.
More so than usual. Yeah.
More so, yeah.
So it's a problem. Thanks for bringing it up constantly.
You side on the showing your bosom side.
Yes.
I respect it.
Yes.
All I care about is consistency.
And I'm fairly consistent.
Let's just say the fabric in your cleavage
Now,
is screaming for dear life.
If I was running around, you guys can't see here, but this is very loose around my waist here. But if I was running around with skin tight on the belly, that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, you're packaging some
then you're
sausage
looking.
then.
That's right, and that's a problem.
Yeah,
but it's still loose around my waist.
It looks like you're smuggling a couple midgets in your chest.
I don't know what to say.
Make them bounce.
I'm not going to. I don't do that on demand.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, just once.
I have an OnlyFans account. I'm not doing it here.
Just gets
55 and up.
Yeah. We call it the silver edition, right?
You dance in front of the camera to Sinatra.
How do you think I have so much cash, dude?
I mean, I get it. Those cold plunges don't pay for themselves.
It's my OnlyFans. Don't tell Carrie. It's my OnlyFans account.
Oh, gosh.
Oh.
Well, okay.
God, that's horrifying to think about.
I mean, I'm changing the subject real quick.
Yeah.
Just lost 17 subscribers.
You're the one that brought it up,
Yeah,
dude.
that's true.
So
I shoot myself in the foot.
there you go.
So, okay. 48 hours roughly, depending on the kind of
That's what I usually. Yeah,
like
most of them typically. If I'm symptom free for a good 2 days, I feel like I'm pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not necessarily related, but we had another question that came in about red light therapy.
Oh,
yeah. We've briefly mentioned it on a bunch of episodes now, mainly because all three of us are using it actively.
Yep.
Essentially daily. I know we use it daily.
I use it all. Well, my hands are always, they're arthritic. I play guitar probably 1 to 2 hours a day too. And so.
Right. And then you mix in, like right now, at our school, we're going over a lot of spider guard grips.
Oh man, that's crushing my grips.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My little arthritis bumps are getting
Yep,
bigger at the moment.
Yep.
So, for example, how we use it is if I have anything that got tweaked or just any sort of soreness, whether it's fingers, I've had some shoulder kind of, is that a tendon or that?
Well, what are you pointing to?
Well, you know, the thing I've dealt with for a long time that goes down.
Oh, the deltoid.
Yeah. Forgot what.
So it's a muscle, then a tendon that inserts into the bone. Yeah.
And I was having some pretty good issues with that.
Yep.
So when that flares up, I use it on that.
Yep.
My knees, when I'll end up having like, oh dang, I kind of, not a full tweak, but you can feel some soreness on maybe like the outside or something like that. I use it on there. Olivia uses it. Her trigger points in the middle of her back flare up time to time. She uses it on that.
And what do you guys think?
We're super skeptical.
Yeah.
You know, it seems very woo-woo.
What going into it? Yeah.
Yeah. But it is a game changer, in my opinion, for staying on the mats.
Yep.
I had someone go for a toe hold. I think I mentioned this a couple episodes ago, and like really put some solid heat on that thing. And it was pretty darn sore for the next 2 days. Like it was really sore. I think if I didn't red light it, it would be sore for a couple weeks.
Now, let me just be clear. Are you using a combo of the near infrared and visual red?
I think so, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we do the setting. Ours has 3 settings.
Yep.
And we do the dual.
The dual.
Yeah.
We can talk about that here. But yeah, I like you. When these things came out on the market, especially, I tried to be really open-minded about stuff, but it can't be bullshit, dude. I don't like this nonsense. Give me some biological plausibility or something, right?
Like
Give me
mechanisms
a theory,
and stuff.
a mechanism, right? Well, I've heard enough about it, and I looked into and saw some papers. The way this thing theoretically it's working is called something.
Because that's the question: is like, what is it actually doing?
So let me give you a little background how I got convinced. I probably told this before on the podcast
I think
about my cat.
It, yeah.
We had a couple years ago. We have 3 very elderly cats. They both passed away in the last couple of years. 3, they all passed
18
away.
to 20 years. Right?
Yeah, 2 of them are 20-year-olds. One of them is an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
One of the 20-year-olds, we thought we were going to have to go and euthanize her because her hip arthritis in her back hips was so bad. She couldn't walk up and down the stairs. We were having to carry her. And we were like, okay. So we use this apparatus. We have this combination red light and near infrared. And she's totally chill anyway, just sit on Carrie's lap. And we do like 10 minutes each side of her hips. And I'll be damned if she didn't get up and just kind of run back up the stairs. We got her about 6 more months of mobility. And this is a 20-year-old cat, very elderly. So that's not placebo, right? A lot of with humans, we're like, oh, I think this is working type of thing. Cats don't know about placebo. All they know is, oh, wow, I can walk, right?
Without pain up steps,
And so then I really started doing a deep dive into it. Well, it turns out the red light is kind of interesting. So red light is just on the long end of the visible spectrum, right? With blue being on the opposite end, more short wavelength. Red is on the longer wavelength, and then just a little bit longer than red is infrared, and we can't see it. And there's near infrared and far infrared, depending on the wavelengths. What it turns out is these red wavelengths tend to penetrate through the skin, right? And they hit the actual nucleus of the cell, and that's something called, you guys can look this up, it's kind of interesting, it's called biophotomodulation. Photo, meaning the photons of the light, are hitting the nucleus of the cell, and it's inducing gene expression. Super interesting. So that's what's stimulating gene expression. And it turns out it's more of the genes that are being expressed are more for the anti-inflammatory type of things that our body naturally does. And, we think, is it a hormesis effect, right? Where you're stimulating something that is producing just like sunlight and tanning and vitamin D and stuff like that. UV light, which is potentially dangerous for long periods of time, can actually produce a beneficial effect with low exposures, right? High exposures, it could be bad. This, is not really bad it's not an ionizing radiation like UV light is, so it won't damage DNA or anything like that. But it does seem to stimulate gene expression, which is fascinating. So it's called biophotomodulation. That's what that means. And that seems to be how it's working. There's been studies in humans on knee arthritis for older people. Really, really interesting.
It's interesting you say that because my stepdad, what was he rubbing on his knee? They gave him, it was like a Tylenol cream or something.
Dale or Ed?
Ed.
Oh, I don't know.
Or father-in-law, but
I kind of wonder if he's using that Voltaren.
He has
Voltaren,
some cream that he was having to rub on his arthritic knee.
Voltaren's an anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, and he was like,
I don't know if it's that, but I feel like it might be.
Because they would do some not aggressive hiking, but they would do some hiking, and his knees were just getting too bad to where he literally would have to stop mid-hike.
So his quality of life is being affected.
Exactly.
Right?
We started red lighting. We started recommending it after we saw true results, and he doesn't even use that cream. He just red lights. Yeah. And it's literally made it so.
It's phenomenal.
He can.
Yeah, there's going to be more and more. I think there's going to be more and more research into it. The company that I like, the ones that were made these devices famous were Juve, but I think they got really pricey. Not that they're all kind of pricey. Yeah. But that Mito Red that we tend to use, I like their stuff's rock solid, and I think it's really good. But
I think ours is about 12 by 10 or something.
Well, but these red lights, they also have, at least the models that we have, also have a near infrared emitter. So you turn that on, and you don't see any light, right? Which you can tell. Have you ever turned on just the near infrared?
Mm-hmm.
Have we?
I mean, I've done that, and there's no light.
I always do just both.
There is light. It's just not visible.
Yeah.
Right? So you're still producing these long wavelength photons. That has a different effect. It tends to stimulate blood flow, kind of warms the inside of the muscle. It's like infrared sauna. It's the type of thing. Those in combination, man, are just such a good deal.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. But that's how theoretically they work, and they seem to be with the studies that have been done on them. That's how it's the gene expression at the cellular level. Very interesting.
Yeah, the person asked a question. They had just got one, and they were using it on their hands because they were getting sore from doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And they're like, is this real? Now, I will say, if you get one, you spend the $350 or $400, whatever.
For the smaller one?
Yeah, for the smaller one. It's not one of these things where if my hands are sore or I was having some forearm tightness.
Yeah, you're having some lateral epicondylitis.
Yeah, right on the top there.
Yeah. Where
I'll have just right on the top, almost to the touch, it's very sore.
Yep.
But it's odd. I'll use it on that, and it's not that literally right after I'm like, oh, phew, all good. But a couple days in,
that's right.
Or I do it right before bed. So I do that. I go to sleep. I wake up, and I do feel better the next morning.
It's a perfect time to do it, by the way.
Okay.
Because you're getting a lot of repair things happen, during deep sleep and all that. Yeah. So you're getting a good stimulus, and then you're sleeping. That's the perfect time to do it, in my opinion, for injury. And
okay. So that's good.
Plus,
to know.
the red light exposure actually seems to help the sleep as well, too.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
And that's like our routine now. It's like she does her
we
time,
like
I
it. So
do mine.
Carrie and I are actually starting talking about getting some of the longer units to kind of almost like full body exposure.
Yeah, because they do have, because right now, let's say I want to do it on my right foot because that's one that hurts.
Right.
And then I have this on my forearm, but I do want to do my hands.
Right.
All those are difficult to do all at once.
Yep.
So then I'm doing, let's say my foot is not too bad, so I'll do 10 minutes.
Yep.
But then my forearm's actually pretty bad. I'm doing 20.
Well,
then my hands, I do another 15.
Right. And so you can see the utility of having a larger area. What's interesting also is for the skin, a lot of people are using it for, especially aging people. It actually seems to enhance collagen production. And that's what causes the skin to sag as we get older, is kind of loss of collagen in the face.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's a lot of interest in doing that as well. But they get pricey, but I tell you, man, for the benefits to me, I think they're such a great investment. I feel like we're doing a commercial for them.
But if you're even a younger grappler, I'd recommend it. But especially if you are mid-30s, if you're in your 30s and up and you're a grappler.
Well, that brings me to a good point. We eat ibuprofen like it's freaking candy.
Yeah.
And that stuff is not good for you.
Yeah.
It just so many ways it's not good for you. It destroys your gut flora. It's really bad for your gastric tract. It's long-term use is bad for your kidneys. In older people, chronic long-term use is associated with increased risk of heart attack and stroke. So these aren't benign medications, right, that we just pound every day, but they're over the counter, so they must be fine.
Right.
But this is such a great alternative that is actually, and doing this and then giving your body some building blocks for repair, like some collagen, some fish oil.
We're not even talking grapplers at that point. We're
anybody,
just talking,
especially
quality of life,
big time. So I'm a huge fan of that stuff, to the point where, like I said, all of us got that entry level thing, the smaller one.
Yeah.
That it's worked well enough where I'm like, we're gonna take the plunge and get a bigger one.
Yeah, it starts to make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Liv, I know you had something.
Oh, question?
Yeah. Or a couple.
Mine are dorky. Okay.
That's what we do here.
Perfect.
Okay. Chris, this is just so random, but why is it there are some days when you go to jiu-jitsu, you sweat more than other days? Why is that?
It's definitely a sympathetic nervous system temperature regulation thing. Okay. I would argue, have you noticed, like, when you're nervous, your palms sweat? Have you ever had that?
Sure.
So sometimes I notice myself, like when I'm coming off of, let's say I've been just sick for a while and I'm still not 100% coming back, that stress on the body puts me into a higher level of flight or fight.
You just dump sweat.
And the temperature sensors in the brain, it's in the hypothalamus, that's responsible for maintaining homeostasis, right? We're trying to maintain a set temperature in the face of either cold or, in this case, hot in activity. Yeah, I've noticed that too, and I think it has to do with the arousal states of the sympathetic nervous system.
I feel like I'll notice it when I'm getting sick too.
Yeah,
If I'm
exactly.
like, I have it in my head. I'm like, am I feeling a little goofy? And then I'll still train, and I'll be like, geez, I am like,
That's
dumping.
That's my point, and I think that's your system's up a bit higher. Your sympathetic nervous system.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and some days when you're kind of there's so many there's environmental factors too, right? But just everything else being equal, for sure, I think it's the state of your the nervous system. I would wonder, that'd be an interesting study. It'd be really hard to quantify, but I wonder if you could follow like heart rate variability before you that morning, and then the degree of your sweating,
Right.
Because then you would think that you would have a lower variability, which means you're more sympathetic dominant. And I wonder if that would correlate well, as opposed to a day where you're feeling really rested and feeling good.
Right. Yeah, that'd be interesting to test like HRV, but then also the grip
grip
test
strength
in the morning to see how your nervous system. And
it'd be kind of cool. I like all that stuff. I think it's really interesting. That's not a dork. That's actually a really good question, Olivia. So that would be my guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, so today I did the AM class. And I noticed, like, right off the bat, like, I was warm and I was, like, starting to sweat, like, and, but then I realized I didn't really eat much for dinner. So maybe I didn't have enough, like,
again,
food or nutrients or, like, recovery. So
what's your body do, right?
Yeah.
We have a stress response, a global stress response, it can be from anything.
Yeah.
So I think that's super interesting. I mean, you probably been nervous sometime. I don't know, like a big interview or I don't know, something.
Sure.
And then like, you're like, damn, I'll use deodorant and antiperspirant. Now my pits are all sweating,
Yeah.
So, yep.
TMI.
Oh,
You got another one?
This is a TMI podcast. That's
true.
Well, this one was
Open book.
I was asked to ask this,
but
it was
for a friend.
Yeah, it was not me.
What happens when you smell your own butt?
Exactly.
It was basically to the effect of like, why do women usually outlive like their husbands, but they're also like drinking 3 Dr. Peppers a day, and like, how are they?
Like the wife is?
Yeah, like how is it that they're able to drink something like that or consume, cigar or whatever it may be, and like they live a long time, but then like,
Yeah.
I don't understand.
So yeah, I'm not an expert in this, and I haven't really done a deep dive into some of the reasons why. But in general, women tend to have a longer life expectancy than men. I wonder how much of it is social. Especially if I wonder, if they took on traditional gender roles. I would think you'd see a bigger disparity. But as things are more egalitarian and women are, doing a lot of the same high stress kind of stuff,
Sure.
that not that they didn't before, but as far as the different types of stressors.
Dig that hole.
No, it's true though. I'm wondering, women I'm generalizing.
Sure.
I'm generalizing.
Allegedly.
Women tend to be a little more health conscious. You probably notice this.
Or they go to the doctor more.
Absolutely. In other words, they're more invested in their own health, and you can see they're like, the stereotype is the wife dragging their husband into for their all the time. Carrie sees this all the time.
I love it.
Why are you here? Oh, my wife made me. That kind of thing. Yeah. So that's
for sure.
I'm sure that's part of it too.
My wife told that doctor to put his finger in my butt.
Okay, so that just makes me think, but why are guys so against going to the doctors? What is that about?
I think, and it's again, yeah, I do. I think it's like, especially men and women are different. You look at willingness to share feelings and things like that. Guys are typically, again, generalizing, are typically less likely to go seek help from a therapist if they're having some, psychological things they need to get off their
sure.
It's a sign of, I don't need to go in there. It's a, I'm fine. It's a dismissive, I'm doing well. I don't know what's at the root of that.
I think as being one of those guys,
Yeah.
I'm literally one of them.
Yeah.
One thing is I don't want to know if something's wrong
Yeah.
Why?
because then you got to do something about it.
Yeah. That's a true thing too, right?
Like, I don't like when I was having some GI stuff, I didn't want to go and like, what if they say you got stomach cancer?
Right.
That's like scary, you know?
You'd rather just not know.
Well, that's the thing. You want to know so you can start addressing it.
Right.
But there's that kind of scariness of that conversation.
I think left to my own devices, I would be a lot worse. But because I've been a physician for over 20 years and seeing kind of like what kind of preventive care can do, like save you from colon cancer. Or, you know, I'm definitely more on board. Although Carrie will tell you I have my days. She's like, dude, you got to do your blood work. I'm like,
right.
And she's drawn my blood at home.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you're not going to go in? Okay. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, but it's just because she cares about me.
Right.
But I think there's some of that. Like, I don't want to show weakness, or I don't want to even deal with that.
Yeah.
Especially as guys get older, I've struggled with this. You feel like you're already like every day, like, gosh, man, freaking just sore and tired and blah, blah. This is the last thing. I don't want to go and have someone freaking.
And then there's this is more, I think, a stereotype with dentists, but they'll like lecture you and say, well, you gotta do this or you gotta stop doing that. And it's like, dudes are more so don't want to hear it.
Yeah. And
like, I know I shouldn't drink Coke.
There's an art form to that too.
Yeah.
As a doctor, you want to meet someone where they're at. You don't want to say, geez, Bill, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, you
dude.
fat turd.
Look at you. I can't believe, why are you even in here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of like, okay.
When did you stop doing that to patients?
I've never done that to patients. But, you know, as opposed to be like, you ask them, like, what do you think are you doing anything right now you think you probably is not the best for you? And have them kind of tell you, well, you know, I probably shouldn't eat
ice cream sandwiches in bed.
Right. Yeah. As I watch Lifetime. Right.
Is that a shot at someone?
I'm just an example. If you're defensive, that's okay.
I think she's more of a Hallmark person.
No, she's Lifetime.
Oh, she's Lifetime.
And I don't.
I was talking about you.
Oh, I think, never mind.
Yeah.
There's someone that we know very closely that is a Lifetime aficionado.
But you're the only one I know that eats ice cream sandwiches in bed.
That's true.
So
actually, yesterday it was a big bowl of cereal.
Well, I was going to say, and a popsicle, right?
Fudge-sicle.
I love this. But anyway, you put it in there, you know, if you told me, if you're like, yeah, I probably shouldn't do that. I'm like, well, would that, you know, how hard would that be for you to do?
Right.
You know, and that way it's like this kind of,
they're already admitting that like they understand some of the negative things that they're doing.
Not like, Bill, you need to stop doing this and stop doing that. That's not a partnership, you know, and I think that's why a lot of guys also, I agree with you. And if we did things better as doctors, I think that's one of the things Carrie does so well, that whole motivational interviewing thing where it's like, well, here's where your patient's at right now. Don't try to change them.
Yeah.
See what they want to do.
Yeah.
Right. They're in here seeing you. So obviously, you know, you don't have to be a authoritarian, you know, just an a-hole.
They did kind of the hard part already.
Exactly. Right. And that way you can just start little things at a time. But that, I think some of that has to do with the healthcare system too. And, you know, doctors are, especially the ones that are sitting, you know, they barely look at you. They sit behind the desk and are typing and barely make eye contact with you. And not like, hey man, you
engage
know,
with them.
Exactly. So there's a lot of it. I think there's a lot of reasons for all of that, Olivia, but,
I think it's interesting that Bill is not okay with doctors shaming their patients, but Bill's good for fat shaming.
Are we going to start listing the hypocrisies of Bill? That might be a long podcast.
Bill, I thought you would love to be shamed for
I do
your
love
habits.
to be shamed.
Dude, we're getting into some. Okay, that's fine.
There's some territory here
you guys, whatever you guys do on a Friday night, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's all right.
She just cusses at me all night.
You're a bad boy.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
You know what reminds me of is that damn dodgeball when he has the pizza and he gets interrupted in his office.
Oh, yeah.
That's literally me. We have a painting of me tackling a bull. It's phenomenal.
Grabbing it by the horns.
Yeah.
But that really happened.
I read it.
In a book.
In a book.
Yeah, it's so good. Anyway.
You had another question, Liv?
I think that was it.
I know you had something, Chris. Also, if you guys have a question that is like health, wellness, or whatever, recovery, jiu-jitsu, whatever, holla at us.
Yeah, it's something I'm reading all the time. This is kind of an area I really like. So please just send questions out. Well, and I get questions sometimes like, you know what? I have no idea. Mm-hmm. And that's really cool because then I can go look some stuff up and learn something.
Yeah.
So it's like a two-way street. So keep pumping those questions out because I think it's great. Oh, yeah. The only thing before we go, I wanted to put a plug in, not just for older grapplers, but if you're coming into jiu-jitsu, you don't have a strong athletic background and you're worried about, man, I feel like I'm at a disadvantage. These guys have played football or wrestled or someone,
Yeah.
John Danaher has a great series out now. I have a ton of instructionals, and I have a bunch of his.
Yeah.
I think this is, and I don't usually mention instructionals here. I think this is one of the best ones I've seen. It's called Ageless Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
But it's not just for older people. It's for people that are less athletic.
Yeah.
Man, some of it's very conceptual with a lot of really good take-home things. In the past, some people have complained that he's very wordy and it takes
long-winded.
But man, I tell you, there's some really good stuff in this one. I think it's a lot more concise, and he's like, this is what we're doing here, and this is why. Talking about, how to develop a game to slow down some of those very athletic, powerful players, and without injuring yourself either.
Okay, he's taking that like pretty seriously for
big time.
People.
Yeah.
How is it for like a more of a beginner, let's say a white or a blue belt or something like that?
Perfect. I mean, I wouldn't say day one white belt. Okay, yeah. But if you're, 3 or 4 stripe white belt and something you're trying to develop a game, let's say you are older or you're less athletic. There's some concepts in here that are applicable to a bunch of stuff. And he just released what I just got today. So he had the bottom game, and then he just released the top.
Oh, I think I saw that. I was wondering if that was a different one.
It is. It's the second one in the series, which I was just watching today. Really good. What's interesting is I've kind of intuitively my game just by empiricism without have gravitated towards like a half guard game. Yeah. Top and bottom.
It's kind of normal for older grapplers, especially black belts. Yeah. It's very common to make half guard kind of a go-to guard.
Some of the things he shows from there that are really, really cool, though, that I learned a whole lot.
You can really slow people down that are athletic.
You can, and get into really good positions. So I'm really enjoying it. So I thought I'd like to plug that. I'm sure he doesn't need any advertisement. I mean, but it's something I think is if you are, they're pricey. I think they almost had like a 45% off sale though today.
Yeah, if you can like add it to your cart and then wait
for like BJJ they have fanatics. Like 45-50% off things sometimes. Yeah. So I was able to get it for almost half off.
Yeah, that's huge. And it's on BJJ Fanatics. If like I said, if you add it to your cart and then like follow them on their social media or whatever, and then get on their mailing list, and then they do sales all the time, especially for big holidays. You get one of those 40% off times.
I mean, some people may have accused me of having a library of which I did. I approached it like medical school.
I literally have an external hard drive.
Yeah,
that's yours.
Yeah,
and it has probably 40.
That I gave you, yeah, I know.
Well, I think I just borrowed it.
I early on in my, when I started, I had to have a system in place. I wanted to have references. So if I had a question, like, hey, gosh, I want to go look up. This is what I want to focus on. I wanted a lot of material there. Yeah. Not just what we're getting in class is always awesome, but it's really important to start seeking knowledge and trying to see different approaches. Yeah. But anyway, I approached it like medical school basically. Yeah. So I have a bunch of references, and then I went a little overboard sometimes.
I was going to mention that actually was, you gotta, if you really want to get better it, especially if you want to get better in with a reasonable timeline.
Yeah.
Doing some sort of studying outside and finding an instructional that you understand how the person, their cadence, their talk, and all that kind of stuff. Finding that person that you kind of gravitate towards and you understand, and doing studying outside of your own gym is absolutely crucial.
Well,
I think
you look like for half guard. You know, I have stuff on Lucas Leitch, I have Bernardo Faria, and I have John Danaher stuff, and they're all, you know, there's some similarities, but there's some, you know, different pieces, and it's nice to be able to kind of.
And you can always go to your gym with that stuff, and it's always different from watching it and then practicing it, and then you can go to a couple of your upper belts and say, I'm working on this.
This is what I saw. What do you think?
But I'm struggling.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And then potentially, you know, like for example, if someone were to come to me, actually, this is a great example. Olivia was asking me about a half guard, and she finds herself with a knee shield, and she's scooping the leg, almost like a deep half, but not quite. And that's just not a game I play. I just don't.
Why didn't you come to me? That's my entire game.
We did, you retard.
I can't remember day to day.
I'm not surprised. You were drunk, and so I was like, ugh, I just don't play deep half for whatever reason. I just don't find myself there.
Or
I don't
scoop
go there.
half or whatever.
Yeah. I don't really scoop the leg and put, even for like X guard, I never put the leg on my shoulder. I always just do like a guillotine or ankle lock grip on it, or I just do a pants grip. And you were there, and you were able to show like how you like to scoop the leg up onto your shoulder, create some space, and do a couple things, some detail stuff. So ask your upper belts, like, hey, I'm struggling with this. If one of them doesn't know, I'm sure they will know which one of the upper belts actually probably has an idea.
I've sent some people to you several times because of the same thing. I'm like, Bill plays this all the time.
Yeah.
Go talk
This
to
is his
him.
territory. The cross collar choke, that's Lawrence over there. You know, it's like the upper belt's going to know who to talk to help kind of fine tune the thing that you're studying outside of the gym.
Yeah. Someone that has it really fine tuned.
Yeah. Because there's a good chance that there's something that you are gravitating towards that you like or that you want to work on that you're not going to go over in your gym because it's just not part of the curriculum. And that's nothing against your gym.
There's only so much you can do.
Literally.
Yeah. Which is a whole nother subject. I don't see how very challenging to have a comprehensive curriculum.
Yeah.
And to please everyone. It really is, man.
And don't be shy about asking an upper belt about, for example, if you're struggling getting past a spider guard.
Yep.
Ask them. Be like, man, what do you do when someone goes spider guard? And then they can just show you some stuff, so then you can start working on it.
And find someone that's a really good spider guard player.
Yeah.
Who will absolutely know.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, it's if you ask the guy that plays it, or
he'll
girl,
be like, yeah, this is how you kind of.
They'll say, this is, if you're going to pass my guard,
it's most effective.
This is, and that's what I do in the day class. Is I say, when I show passing, I show passing because I'm flexible. So I show how to finish passes against someone that can sit like how I'm sitting right now.
Yeah.
You know, that because if you can pass that, you're probably going to be able to pass someone with less flexibility.
Yeah, why are you looking at me?
If the shoe fits, buddy.
Dude, it fits very, very well.
Yeah, it does. The old Cinderella. So I did that podcast we talked about.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
It'll be out on Thursday. It's called Endless Endeavor.
Is it going to be out this Thursday?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it'll be on, I think it's on Spotify and all of those things, YouTube. But we did 2.5 hours.
That's crazy.
If you listen to this podcast, you've heard some of the stories. I did tell my colonoscopy story, or not colonoscopy, but my finger in the butt story.
You were on a roll with that one.
I did.
You?
I don't know why. It was top of mind because I think we did it like that podcast, and then 2 days later I recorded.
You sure did. Yeah.
So I had butts on the mind.
Well,
so it was entertaining. We talked some jiu-jitsu stuff for like an hour and a half. And, yeah, but it was entertaining.
yeah, cool. Everyone go listen to it. I mean, it sounds good.
But that's it.
That's all I got.
Yeah. I think
we're going to have Carrie come back on.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to talk the semaglutide thing.
that's an interesting word. Mm-hmm. So
The
fat loss.
the whole weight loss and semaglutide.
Yeah.
There's some controversy around it.
Okay.
And so she's,
If you got weight loss questions,
yeah.
get them, send them in.
Yeah.
YouTube comments, Instagram DMs, even though we're not very active, we still check them. grapplingwithpodcast@gmail.com is a great spot as well.
Yeah, between Carrie and I think we can hook you up with that.
So if you got any sort of weight loss questions, male, female, or dog and cat, let us know.
Perfect ending again.
Later.
See ya.